Picture the exact moment. 66 million years ago. The sky burns, the ground violently shakes, and a city-sized rock hurtles toward the Yucatan Peninsula, poised to wipe out 75% of all life on Earth. But what if it didn't?
What if that 10-kilometer asteroid arrived just a tiny fraction of a second later? What if it just grazed our atmosphere and vanished into the dark void of space? Could it literally be that human existence, everything we know, everything we've ever built, is nothing more than a spectacular cosmic accident?
Chapter 1. The Asteroid That Missed. A world where the KPG extinction never actually happened. Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and build a scientifically accurate, deeply suspenseful alternate reality. We are completely throwing away the Hollywood scripts today and relying entirely on cutting-edge paleontology, climate data, and evolutionary biology to see exactly what would have happened if the dinosaurs never died. Because the truth is, surviving the asteroid was just the beginning. To really understand our alternate Cenozoic era, we have to look at the timeline. The dinosaurs weren't just going to coast into the modern day, not at all. They had to adapt to wild, dramatic global shifts. Without the impact winter blocking out the sun, the lush, high carbon dioxide environment of the Paleocene greenhouse simply continued on. The mighty herds of hadrosaurs and titanosaurs kept radiating, pushing their ecosystems to the absolute limit. But then, 56 million years ago, they hit a brutal climactic wall. 8 degrees Celsius. And that might not sound like a lot, but during the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, the Earth experienced this incredibly rapid, punishing global temperature spike of 8 degrees. In our timeline, this event severely impacted mammal diversity and caused early mammals to physically dwarf. But in our dinosaur-dominated timeline, this extreme heat would completely reshape the biosphere from the ground up. Chapter 2, the mega-herbivore jungle. Flora fights back. So that brings us to the very foundation of this sweltering new world. With millions of massive, constantly hungry dinosaurs roaming around, how could plant life possibly survive this unending onslaught without being eaten straight into extinction? Well, the answer is a ruthless biological arms race. In our actual history, the extinction of large dinosaurs created a 25-million-year mega-herbivore gap, which allowed plants to kind of relax, lose their thorns, and grow big, fleshy fruits. But with the continuous presence of towering titanosaurs, plants are forced to brutally escalate their defenses. We're talking about the evolution of terrifying megaspines, highly toxic chemical deterrents that make modern African savannas look totally tame, and palm trees that evolve heavily armored, virtually impenetrable trunks just to survive the relentless grazing. And here is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Against this backdrop of armored jungles and an 8-degree temperature spike, the famous late Cretaceous giants don't actually get bigger. They dwarf. To survive the hothouse climate and shed body heat, descendants of the mighty T-Rex, Triceratops, and Alamosaurus are forced to radically shrink in size, becoming dense forest specialists. But while the kings of the land were shrinking into the underbrush, a terrifying battle for absolute dominance was just beginning to unfold high above them. Chapter 3, Rulers of the Sky, the Pterosaur versus Bird Battle. In our timeline, birds inherited the skies right after the flying reptiles, the pterosaurs, were wiped out. But what happens when the pterosaurs never leave? Well, it all comes down to mechanics. Birds are severely limited in their maximum flight size because they rely solely on a bipedal takeoff, just their 2 hind legs to launch into the air. But pterosaurs? They utilize a powerful 4-limbed quad jump. They use their massively muscled wings to basically pole vault off the ground, which enables them to reach truly monstrous proportions. Because of this anatomical cheat code, the Cenozoic skies are entirely ruled by the Azhdarchids. Just picture this cinematic, frankly terrifying visual. Biplane-sized monsters, literally as tall as modern giraffes, stalking across the open plains as the world's apex scavengers. They cast massive shadows over the landscape, effectively trapping modern birds in the underbrush, completely blocking them from ever evolving into large soaring predators like our eagles or vultures. Down on the ground, this pressure builds a much more aggressive, hostile avian community. Because the asteroid missed, a group called the Enantiornithes, the opposite birds, survive. These guys still have teeth in their jaws and claws on their wings. They are highly precocial, meaning they can fly almost immediately after hatching. In this timeline, the gentle, toothless songbirds we know today are forced to fiercely and violently compete with these toothed, clawed avian raptors in the dense Cenozoic forests. But while the skies were an absolute battleground, the oceans were about to begin boiling, paving the way for a brand new dinosaurian threat.
Chapter 4, Return to the Oceans. Dinosaurs claim the deep. Meanwhile, the surviving marine reptiles, like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs, were swimming headfirst into an absolute thermal nightmare. During the Eocene thermal maximum, sea surface temperatures reached an unbelievable 36 degrees Celsius. That is the heat of a warm bath. This placed severe, near-lethal metabolic stress on the giant marine reptiles, causing massive disruptions in the ocean food web. But, nature absolutely abhors a vacuum. Just like mammals did in our actual timeline when our land-dwelling ancestors waded into the water to become whales, semi-aquatic dinosaurs seized this opportunity. The Spinosaurids, who were already comfortable hunting in rivers during the Cretaceous, plunged fully into the seas. Over millions of years, they evolved into fully aquatic, cetacean-like apex predators, wresting control of the boiling oceans away from the dying mosasaurs.
Now, I want to be super clear here. These aren't just wild guesses. What we're looking at are rigorous, data-driven paleontological projections of ecological niches, drawing directly from evolutionary principles. We'd see dwarfed sauropods in the dense forests, fully aquatic Spinosaurs in the oceans, giant Pterosaurs dominating the savanna, and, fascinatingly, arboreal, simian-like Maniraptorans swinging through the trees. Which brings us to the ultimate climax of this explainer. If the dinosaurs occupied the primate niche, could they have achieved human-like intelligence?
Chapter 5. The Sapiens Question. Would dinosaurs build a civilization? It is the ultimate speculative question, isn't it? We actually know that by the late Cretaceous, small theropods were showing a steady increase in their encephalization quotients. That's the ratio of brain size to body mass. If given another 66 million years, would they have built cities? Well, for decades, this was the prevailing theory. In 1982, paleontologist Dale Russell proposed the dinosauroid concept, claiming that a large-brained dinosaur would inevitably stand completely upright, lose its tail, and adopt a highly human-like humanoid form just to balance a heavy head. It's a famous, incredibly popular myth. And modern science, it completely tears it apart. Modern paleontology completely replaces that old anthropocentric humanoid myth with something much more scientifically accurate and honestly, way cooler. A highly intelligent theropod, an Avasapiens, wouldn't look like a human in a rubber suit. It would retain its horizontal posture, perfectly balanced by a stiff tail. It would be covered in complex feathers for thermoregulation and social display. It would manipulate tools using its ancestral three-fingered hand with a semi-opposable digit. And most importantly, its intelligence wouldn't be mammalian at all. It would utilize avian-style cognition. Much like modern corvids or parrots, which can solve extremely complex puzzles and use tools without a mammalian neocortex. It would be brilliant, feathered, and distinctly non-human. Chapter 6. A World Without Us. The Mammalian Fate. So, where are we in all of this? If the dinosaurs are occupying the oceans, the skies, the plains, and even the realm of high intelligence, what the heck happened to the mammals? Well, the answer lies in a devastating biological mechanism called the ontogenetic competition trap. Unlike mammals, which give live birth to relatively large babies, dinosaurs lay eggs. A massive 4-ton dinosaur starts its life as a tiny multi-pound hatchling. As it grows up, it physically shifts through different weight classes, totally changing its diet and hunting strategies along the way. That means a single species of dinosaur occupies the tiny niche, the medium niche, and the large niche over its lifespan. It outcompetes mammals at absolutely every single weight class. Because of this absolutely relentless pressure, there is a strict no megamammals rule. The terrestrial niches simply remain completely full of metabolically efficient, hyper-competitive archosaurs. Mammals are permanently restricted to being small, nocturnal insectivores and scavengers. Our ancestors are literally forced to burrow deep into the dirt just to avoid being eaten. There's absolutely no evolutionary runway for early primates to ever grow larger, swing through trees, form complex social groups, or develop technology. Humanity never even gets the chance to stand up. Which leaves us with a deeply unsettling reality. You see, the dinosaurs were not some evolutionary dead end. They were highly adaptable, metabolically flexible, and cognitively advancing. They were just unlucky. If that rock had missed, Earth would still be theirs. So look at everything around you, your city, your technology, your entire history. Are we nothing more than a marginal footnote, a massive cosmic fluke, granted existence only because a 10-kilometer asteroid happened to hit the Earth at exactly the right second? Think about that next time you look up at the night sky.